Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of Matthew. We're in Matthew 13, the 7 parables of the coming times of the church. Again, controversial, but taking this important chapter, in the normal, literal way of Christ coming to the Jews, being rejected throughout the first part of the book, and really peaking in Matthew 12. God introduces the concept through Christ of the times of the church, not mentioning the church specifically because it will become active till Acts 2. Again, controversial point. You'll have to think this through yourself. But it is foreshadowing those times and what we'll see in the church. He's mentioned the purpose of parables here, and now in 2 verses, which we'll cover today, he mentions the another purpose of it. The first purpose was to teach about or give more to those to the disciples than what they had in terms of knowledge. And then here it is to fulfill Old Testament scriptures. So let's look at it. Verse 34, all these things spake Jesus unto the multitude. So he's still with the crowd. He'll soon go to the disciples only. He spoke in parables, and without the parable spoke he not unto them. So remember that Israel is under judgment because of their sin, all the way back to Massa in Exodus 17, and their unbelief in testing God. And really, here testing is, again, something in English we don't think much of, but to God, or to the Greek version of it, and in the Hebrew, this concept was very severe and showed unbelief after God had just redeemed them miraculously out of Egypt. So these, starting in Deuteronomy 29, God explains that you can't see, you can't understand, you can't hear, and he explains it again earlier in the chapter. Verse 35, that it might be fulfilled that was spoken by the prophet. This is Asaph in Psalm 78, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. So Psalm 78 is a brief history, probably even a spiritual history of Israel, also looking to their future. If this is in talking about the kingdom, or the times of the kingdom in Psalm 78. So again, if we look at mystery as something not known but revealed, what's been revealed so far in this chapter? Well, really, probably the simplest way to look at it would be the church that has not been revealed in the Old Testament. Regeneration, we saw in the parable of the sower, and also the Gentiles, which would have to be included because this great assembly, what will be called the church, will go to the whole earth. Okay, so important points here that God, through Christ, is emphasizing that speaking in parables is part of the judgment on Israel, who is in unbelief. And these parables can be understood, but they can't, and it must be aggravating to them, and perhaps even causing jealousy to those who might understand them. And but part of the punishment, it seems. And then, of course, he's given to the disciples some of the interpretations, so they actually gain, and those who have more, as it says earlier, will gain. Okay, so important lessons. We'll continue then with these parables, important parables, next time. And I'm glad you're here today, and I hope you will join me then. Goodbye for now.